All right, so you've made it this far. First of all, thank you. Second of all, congratulations. That means that you've got Sitefinity Insight connected to your CMS. You've got a persona set up. You've got a conversion set up. Maybe two personas, a couple of conversions. But we are ready to take a look at the system and get an appreciation for the data that's coming back and how we can start to leverage this platform the best way we can. Hopefully you haven't gone too much further than the outline that we've provided so far. We really believe it's important to understand these fundamentals and get an appreciation for the data that's coming back and how you can understand and leverage that information before you add more personas and get into some of the other features and functionality that we haven't even touched on. So let's go have a look at the system. I'm going to be in the sample environment again. So there is a little bit more data than what I hope you can see so far. But on the dashboard, right from the get-go, it's going to show us at a glance the conversions that have happened, the touch points that have been visited, the number of visitors that have actually been on the site, and the contacts that have been captured by the platform in that same time period. Again, the difference between a contact and a visitor is that we know who a contact is and a visitor is anonymous. So at the top of the page here, you can change the time frame. If you've got a bigger, busier site, it's probably very helpful to take a look at the data that came in yesterday, and maybe you have a routine of checking this on a regular basis. Maybe for most teams, it's more of a weekly activity. For some teams, it may only be a monthly activity. Regardless of your cadence, it is handy to change the time frame here and see how things have been evolving over time. This is a great place to start, the dashboard. Just right from the get-go, the first screen that you come to. As you scroll down, you'll get a few highlights of the data and what that story is telling you. The most improved conversion is here. The touch points with the highest impact on that conversion are listed beside it. If you want to go straight into the other conversions and get the data from those, you can click right away and view all conversions. You'll get the list of the conversions that you've got in the system with the data that also corresponds to the same time period. You can even drill in further. But again, we're here to just make sure that you can get the highlights from the system and gain that initial understanding. I like to take a look at the persona data from the get-go. There's a couple of things that you're going to understand in the early days of using the system by looking at the persona data. First of all, is there anything missing? Is there anything about the persona data that strikes you as odd? That's a familiar situation to be in the early stages of using the platform. That means one of two things typically. One, it might mean that what you thought was true is not true. And that's a valuable insight. The rule you set up to track the data for these particular audience segments or your one persona that you might have set up. If there is no data here, that might be telling you something very true, that actually the behavior that you were trying to measure is not happening. And that can be very eye-opening. The second possibility, probably just as likely, especially at the beginning, is that you need to refine the rules and you need to think about whether or not you've set up your thresholds and your attribution properly in order to qualify for a particular persona. So you might have to click on an existing persona, drill down deeper, and double check your rules and think about those to make sure that they're capturing data properly. Super helpful to look at this and think about that in the early days. If you want to view all of your personas, there's a little link here from the dashboard to let you drill in. As we scroll down, we get to my favorite report of this entire system. This is the uplift by touchpoints report. It's a bit of a heat map. It's an attribution matrix. On the top, you have your conversions. Even if you only have one or two, you're then going to get an association to your touch points or your content and how much of an influence those touch points have on whether or not a conversion was completed. So if we take a look at this, we've got a website registration where they registered for an account on our website. The darker the square indicates that there was a higher attribution there. they searched for tablet. So if the tablet content on our website means searching for tablet content means that is a high likelihood that somebody decides to register as a user and get an account on our system. The lighter squares show low attribution or potentially even a negative attribution. Very insightful as well. Hey, wait a minute. Why am I not getting the kind of influence on my conversion that I thought I was going to get? You can also drill down and see all your touch points here, and this is a very valuable thing. We get into lead scoring here, which we'll get to at a later point. I don't want to worry about lead scoring right away. So from an initial value proposition here, you're going to get some immediate data by asking some questions of what you can see right here on the dashboard, and in fact, what you may not see on the dashboard. So spend some time, I would say even a few weeks, just looking at the data and getting appreciation for it, thinking about and sort of being a little bit critical and thoughtful about some of the rules that you've set up to make sure that this is capturing data that you're finding valuable, that seems to be accurate. And once you're gaining confidence with this, you can get into some of the other refinements and other features and functionality in the system. On a monthly basis or on a weekly basis, whatever your cadence is, just even coming in and looking at this dashboard alone will provide tremendous value. So there you go. You're already on your way to getting value and benefit from using Sitefinity Insight. The next videos will drill in even deeper. See you there.